right, guys, we're back with another episode of the Drink About It podcast, and we are here at one of our favorite places, one of our favorite breweries. Lacey just grabbed the hat out of the shot here to prove. We brought in my sweat-stained Double Wing hat to prove that we're actually fans. But we're here at Double Wing Brewery, attached to Debonee Winery, and we're here with Steve. Steve, what is your role here, I guess?
I am the outside sales and marketing manager.
Yeah, Steve is the person, we see him all the time. It's funny,
The beer guy.
Yes, Steve's the beer guy. We see him at all the events and everything. When we sat down to start this, it was like, listen, we've seen you, we recognize you. No reason you would pick us out of the crowd. But thanks for sitting down with us,
Yeah,
man.
thanks for having me.
Like I said, this is one of our favorite places to come. I had a hot take earlier today talking about this episode too, that Double Wing is home of one of my favorite beers of all time, probably my favorite Ohio beer, and that's the Butter Pecan Porter.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, that everybody knows it as. So I'm so excited to be here. But let's dive in a little bit about Double Wing, the brand. Cellar Rad, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Tell us, how was that transition?
So we started in 2008.
Okay.
Started in the winery. The owner of the winery, Tony Debonee, his son started the brewery. A lot of people come into the winery, they're asking, do you have any beer? Is there any beer back there?
Right.
Wine tours. They've been drinking wine all day. They need a change, so they wanted a beer.
Right.
And they're asking for the Bud, the Coors, the Miller. So Tony Jr. started brewing the lager, the light lager. And we'll be trying that today.
Awesome.
So that was the beginning. And then 2016, we decided to do a little bit of redirection and did a name change.
Yeah.
The owner of the winery, he's a pilot. So he has a biplane that's there's a runway on the back of the vineyard.
Oh, really?
So,
Very cool.
there's
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
There's a few biplanes back there.
Really?
Yep. I'm not sure how many, but if you're lucky out here in the summer, you'll get a nice free flight show.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome. So I guess it all started out of, I don't want to say out of necessity, right? Of finding this opportunity of the winery and people coming in and saying, hey, there's a huge market to have here.
Absolutely. And so 2008 was right at the very beginning of that boom of the craft beer industry.
Sure.
It was right there, and the closest one was downtown Cleveland, and then if you're going east, you're going into PA.
Yeah, right.
Still, if you're going east, there's small, little, tiny brew pubs around, but not a brew production facility.
Especially back then.
Yeah,
right? Even now, there's still time, in Lake County, Lee, you're in Madison, you're probably what, 10, 15 minutes from here?
From here, yeah, it's great.
So us being Lake County people, we're normally right. Everybody would venture to Cleveland or anything. There's not a ton of spots back then and even now, really.
I think there's 3 or 4 currently in Lake County.
Yeah. So it's awesome to have somebody actually here, not have to worry about going downtown. And like you mentioned, having the winery here, that's got to be so unique for your clientele.
Absolutely.
You've got people that may not have been introduced to the craft beer world or have that little bit of a barrier. We talk about, I think, nowadays it's probably a little more inclusive, but even back then, craft beer wasn't something people talked about or saw all over the place.
And it's grown just from the start of 2008 till 2022. The growth alone is unbelievable. I mean, the styles, but starting with the light lager it's just an introduction. It's still a craft beer. Even though it's a light lager, it's a craft beer.
Yeah. So one thing we talk about, and Lee, we've talked about this, I'm a huge fan of the Butter Pecan Porter, and I like big punch you in the face, crazy outrageous beers. And so does Lee, but he's a little more of the brewer's guy.
Yeah.
Lee appreciates the light lagers, the pilsners, the ones that are just clean, crisp.
Super drinkable. I love that, just in beer for sure.
And you'll see that a lot in the brewer side of things, that they go and they like to try, from my experience, they like to try the lagers because they're the ones. They're hard.
Yeah.
You can taste the smallest imperfection in a lager.
Yeah.
That's and it's longer.
Yeah, that's the reoccurring theme. Is you can't hide it. You can't have these big, bold flavors. If you mess something up or something's a little bit off, you're going to know immediately. Yeah. So it's really great that it started with a brewer's beer like that, too, instead of trying to come out and say, hey, this is what we do, and we're going to do it well. Besides the light lager, I know you guys have the Pride of Cleveland, right? What is... And even we talked about the Butter Pecan Porter. What is probably the number one selling beer or most popular?
Pride of Cleveland, hands down. It's a brand that's been around Cleveland since 1897. I think that's the right year that it was introduction into Cleveland. It was brewed downtown Cleveland. Years later, it ended up moving to Pittsburgh, Duquesne Brewery. Bought it. They ended up going bankrupt, and in the 80s, we saw a brand. You could see it around the country. Those older brands, they're coming back because you have those nostalgic feelings when the number of people I've had, my great-grandfather drank that beer.
Get out of here.
That was my first 80-year-old man. That was my first beer I've ever had when I was in my
Wow.
20s. Yeah, so
That's really
it really
interesting.
has that nostalgia, and I like it. And we use that 60-70 logo. That,
Yeah, right.
Yep. Now we do own the rights to POC brand.
That's awesome. That's so cool to be, especially for, not saying like a newer brand, but to come out away from Debonee that most people know. Or probably that's how it got their introduction to either Cellar Rat or Double Wing.
Yeah.
To have that whole other piece now of that history to the brand. That's
and
incredible.
We see the importance in it, and me as the outside salesman, I try to take it to every event I'm at, just to, because people are like, whoa,
sure.
I didn't even know this was still made.
Sure.
And it had some negative stigma towards it, and I blame when it was brewed in Pittsburgh.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And years ago, I mean,
Anytime we can blame stuff on Pittsburgh, I'm good with that.
technology's come a long way too to
Sure.
assist with making the brew process a little bit better.
Right, I imagine probably a lot more consistent. You could
Yes,
have a good
yes,
batch and a bad
yes.
batch, where now things tend to be a lot more.
I just say we have better water than Pittsburgh did.
It's a blitz blanket state. We have everything better than Pittsburgh, right? Why don't we dive in here a little bit?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
try the light lager, right? We'll go.
Yep.
And I love this. Hopefully you can see like the whole, like the rainbow effect here of these as they're coming through. So tell us a little bit about what we're tasting here.
So it's our light lager. If someone comes in here and they're like, I don't like that craft beer stuff, I just want, they say it, Bud, Coors,
give me
Miller.
Bud, right.
This is it,
Right.
right.
There, drink the light lager.
It's an easy
drinkable.
transition. It's what you expect for something like that, where you want to come in and just have something like on a hot summer day, like we're saying at the Hofbrau House, like super easy to drink, really refreshing. It's 90 degrees, it's hot, you're outside,
Yeah.
listening to music. This is perfect.
Just cut the
What was our
grass.
term that we came up for? What was it? The garage beer?
Yeah, garage
Beer, right? You're out like cutting your grass, like that is a beer's
It's a good
beer.
session. I can have multiple of those.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You're not going to
That would go
drink
down
an
easy.
8%. You're not going to drink 10 of them.
Right. Oh my gosh, and that's so much better. Very crisp, like it's super, super clear. And like you said, that goes down really easy. Was it 4% ABV? That's great.
And it's one of those that if it's, again, it's craft beer. So
Sure.
if you're trying to introduce someone to craft beer that, is typical Miller Lite, Coors Light, Bud Light, don't slap an IPA in their face. Give them a lager.
It's baby steps, baby steps. You got to get into it. Oh, that's awesome. And then next up we have, this is one of my favorite too, and this is, Lee, you hit on it, like hot day outside. When it gets warm out here.
This is my favorite too.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is
one of my
my
favorites.
favorite. This is the blueberry Kolsch.
I would say this is our second biggest seller.
Oh, for sure. I bet.
Especially in the summer. And
Yeah.
I didn't do it here because a lot of people that are out and about get it from the store in the can. But
Yeah.
here, when we serve it in the draft, we add frozen blueberries
couple
to
of blueberries
it. Yep.
on it. Oh, that is
Awesome.
the pro move. And frozen too. I've never done
Frozen,
that.
yep.
I like that. Keep it cold but not water it down.
Because we have a very large patio that you can sit at. Go outside. You're letting that beer sit there. It can get warm pretty quick.
Sure, sure. I mean, with me, I've never had the issue of it lasting long enough to get warm. No, this is really good. I love this.
I love the blueberry Kolsch too.
This-
And it's not like, you have some fruit beers and they're very pungent. This just has a super light taste of blueberry and it's super refreshing. It's nice.
Yeah, it's not like overpowering, like some of those fruit, and it like almost that fake fruit taste, This tastes almost very natural. It's a key to
It's really good.
like the winery background.
And we try to stay true to the Kolsch style. So
Yeah.
it is that light Kolsch style with notes of blueberry. Like you said, it's not over blueberry. That's what we wanted to get, just the perfect amount of blueberry.
I think you nailed it. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite beers in general.
it is.
Probably, if not my favorite fruit beer for sure.
Every time we do these two, and we always like, oh my gosh, the beer's amazing, we love it, and it feels like not disingenuous, like we're just
Yes.
sitting down and saying all great things. Like Double Wing is one, and we can even pivot here a little bit, is around here in Lake County, like your guys' distribution is great. A lot of different places, even in Cleveland, you can't really find out here. And one thing that with distribution and even the delivery aspect, I feel like you guys were on that train really early, at least out in our area in Eastern Lake County and where we're at. But the availability to just go to the store and get blueberry Kolsch and see the cans right there is got to be huge.
So we're self-distributed, and part of my role as sales and marketing manager, I deliver, most of the beer.
I'm sure that's probably where I'd seen you before sometimes too, is getting some
in
deliveries.
the store doing some
Yeah, right.
deliveries. But as we're talking about the delivery aspect, we still to this day, ever since quarantine of 2020, do home deliveries.
Wow.
Oh, very
so
cool.
What's your guys' range, I guess, for that? Obviously, you're
So
not
we've
hiking out to,
expanded
like,
since
Lakewood
quarantine.
or anything.
Oh yes,
Get out of here.
Lake, Geauga, Ashtabula, Cuyahoga, Medina, and Summit County.
and it's you.
It's me or the wine sales manager, and we deliver
Wow.
right to your door. Yes.
Get out of here.
That's
You can
awesome.
order wine or beer. It's grown since just delivering Debonee wine and Double Wing beer.
Yeah.
It's called the Valley Wine Group. We deliver Debonee wine, Double Wing beer,
Yeah.
Grand River wine, Castro 7 wine, South River wine, and then there's some food items that you can order that like local meat market.
Get out of
Yep.
here.
So-
Wow. That had to be hugely, you mentioned for the pandemic, right? That had to be something great with all these places we see struggle during that time. That had to keep you guys afloat a little bit, right?
So April, when we were quarantined, I was working probably 12-hour days, consistently
Oh my
doing home
gosh.
deliveries only.
Jeez.
So you guys are like the craft drink and food and beer like DoorDash, like
Yes, yes. And it's not the DoorDash to where, we try to get it within 72 hours.
Yeah.
Sure.
But during that time, people they were putting in orders in the morning and they were getting the beer that day.
Wow.
So the service, we've grown lifelong fans just because
Yeah.
they got that quick response to where
Right.
we weren't going. I wasn't able to go do sales calls in accounts because they were closed. So I was get my deliveries done, my normal sales calls, and then home deliveries.
Talk about like brand loyalty too.
Yeah,
that's
that's
incredible
awesome.
to have people say, hey, you know what? I want this. I can't go to the bar. I can't go to the store and get it. That I'm gonna give me a case of this and a case of that and a couple of packs and stock up in the fridge. That's awesome. I remember we did that at my old work. We ordered a bunch, and it was awesome. It was great. Passed out to a whole bunch of people at the work, and it was like the coolest present ever to just have all this beer show up one day and pass out and say, hey man, grab a 6-pack of this, grab a 6-pack of that. It was great. Oh, that's awesome. Here, we'll pivot back, I guess, a little bit. What's up? So we got Pride
Pride of
Cleveland, right?
Cleveland.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And that's a lot more than what you get with the light lager too. For a normal Pilsner, what you would think, it's a lot more full body than I expected for sure.
So it's that European style, that that Czech malt. So
Yeah.
it's the Bohemian style that we have since got the old recipes. We have them in a lockbox somewhere. But yes, it's as true to the original recipe as we could.
Yeah. Wow. That's really good. That's really good. It's better than I remember. I don't know if it's just the different sitting or drinking out of a can or out here. I don't know what it is. That's really good.
That's really good.
I'm reinvigorated on Pride of Cleveland now. Wow. That's really good.
I don't think I'd ever had it before this.
You haven't had it?
No, I don't think so.
The can is so iconic, like that old school logo.
Yes, yeah,
Like
I
the
definitely.
throwback. It
You
makes
can
me-
definitely see the logo and recognize it for sure. If you're from the area, you definitely see that and recognize it.
Right, you may not even know what it is, or have the same thing like knowing the attachment to Double Wing now.
Yeah,
Except
and
with that
that's
brand
why I
being
try
around
to
for
take
so
it to every single event, is to get that brand attachment from POC Pilsner to Double Wing Brewing.
Right,
Like,
yeah. Right.
They're interchangeable.
long. No, I had no idea until probably doing some research or seeing. I was looking at the online order back in the day when the pandemic hit. And I was like, wait a minute, like. I knew that there was some sort of connection, but until now, I didn't realize the history of it and the connection you guys had. That's really cool. That's really neat. Now I'm staring down one of my favorites. It's the red ale here. You don't see a lot of these, or at least not anymore. I'm having trouble seeing or
Right.
finding red ales anymore. Oh, it's so good. To me, this is like fall football weather when
Yeah.
I get red ale. And always like on a Sunday, sitting down, cold, 40, 50 degrees. This is what I want. I don't know. It's not super spicy at all. Like it's not super
that's
heavy,
really good.
but it just, for me, it feels like it reminds me of the fall.
Oh,
Yeah.
the European malt, that it gives that almost a natural sweet flavor to it. It's not like over sweet, but it has that. Red ales can be a little sweeter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sweetness.
Now, Lee, I know you said probably is the blueberry your favorite?
The blueberry Kolsch, I love that for sure. I also love like butter pecan porter. You know, that's awesome.
It's a weird inside joke from
Burbercon, yeah.
That was probably at least over a year ago. That
The
was
very
early
first
on.
episode. Yeah,
Was it?
yeah.
I think to give you the history, the first time we ever did this was during the pandemic, and the reason why we started doing this, and it is morphed now into more of the craft beer scene, but really, we wanted an opportunity to get back together and shoot the shit and sit down and have a chat over a couple of beers. And what were we drinking? It was
holiday. We were drinking Mad Elves. I'll never forget that.
Mad Elves. So I think we had the 4 or 5 in like an hour and a half while trying to navigate doing a podcast for the first time, and there was just hours of completely unusable footage.
Yes, and
Some
it
mumbling.
it got so bad.
it's
It was
never been
terrible.
more uncomfortable between us because we know each other. We know each other since high school, so going on over a decade now, and like
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever been more uncomfortable between the two of us. Than
It was so bad, and we're like, you know what? We'll just drink.
Yeah.
It'll loosen up. It'll be really good, and then it just went way off the rails. So the butter pecan became Berber kern, or however it was slurred out that day. So it's followed us around now. But Lee's probably, I don't know, maybe blueberry, and I'm the butter pecan. Both of us are top. What would you say is like your go-to double wing beer? What if you're walking around here? What is something you see in your hand normally?
POC Pilsner.
POC?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you ask anyone that worked here, it's POC.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
In my fridge, POC Pilsner.
oh, that was the other question. So
was coming.
Lee mentioned we were just at Hoffer House the other day, and their brewmaster Josh gave us a good question too to ask some of these guys. We always ask, what is your favorite that we have here? But if we went to your house right now and opened your fridge, what would we find in there? Besides, even if that's great, that he's a true company man, this guy. But if we didn't have Double Wing, what else are we going to find in your fridge? This could be anything.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yep.
It's safe, but it's safe for it's the right reason. It's just a good beer.
It
It
is.
is, and it's right at that, not overly hoppy, but it got that good amount of bitterness.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. That is a good answer. I was hoping to trip you up a little bit. he was ready for that one. He was ready. Oh, excuse me. Oh man, the red ale. Lee's not being mean. He's just.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch weight. Trying to lose weight, having surgery soon, and I won't be able to drink it all, but
So he's
down about 50 pounds. So
awesome. It's really great. It's funny. We were getting him a hard time the other day too. Of like we had a lot of these set up here in the next like week or two, and Lee's like trying to lose weight. Like, can't drink all these beers.
Take a little sip.
Because I don't want to seem like a jerk, like not drinking at all.
A huge jerk. Like, what is this guy? This is a drinking podcast. He's not even drinking.
Right.
Like,
Well,
what is
yeah,
up
the
with
beer's
that?
really great. Lee's how did we'll drink enough for you. We can do like what Destiny taught us at the Cleveland Urban Winery.
Oh yeah, the air, like when you aerate it in your mouth.
Swish,
Yeah.
spit, and all that stuff. I don't remember it exactly, but that was our little intro to.
I'm gonna have to get like a
wine tasting.
designated taster or something,
Right.
like guest taster.
So here we have the IPA, right? The IPA is next.
Yep.
That's good. That's really good.
Oh man, it's lighter too. Tell us about the IPA.
It's standard IPA. The one thing is we don't filter our IPA, so that's why it has that hazy look to
Yeah,
it. It's
right.
not. We don't call it a hazy IPA.
Yeah, right.
It is an unfiltered IPA.
Yeah.
About 50 IBUs, so it has that nice little bit of bitterness to it. Not something I'd introduce non-craft beer IPA drinkers to, because it does have that bitter
Right.
tones to it.
But I think if you were dipping your toe in it, that's not a bad place to be. If you had some craft beer and stuff and you were getting into it, that's a great place to start.
It's not over the top.
It tastes good.
No,
Yeah.
Lee makes fun of me. I always say I want to chew on my
Yeah.
IPAs. Like I want enough hop in there.
Yeah.
But that's right. Where you guys are positioned here, of exactly that, having that transition of that doorway into craft beer, of not having your first IPA not hit you in the face, like very clean, very like true to the style, I'd say. Yeah.
And you guys got a great setup here, just like with I know I love coming here for like the outdoor shows and stuff in the summertime with the bands, and all these beers just complement that so well, I think.
Have you guys ever done like any wine and beer pairing at all? Is there any, or is
So
that like way
we do-
a weird concept?
At Farm Park, we do wine and beer dinners. We
Interesting.
have connections there that there's a couple dinners of the year that we will pair beer usually with a dessert or appetizer and then wine
Really?
throughout the entrees.
Oh, I like that.
Yep, and we do that all basically spring through fall.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like you guys are at every possible event or function or festival or anything It's like safe to say that Double Wing's going to be there.
If they ask me, I say yes.
That's awesome. No, that's
Yeah,
great.
because we saw you guys when we went to that Bruisology event.
Yeah, that's a newer one, but it's fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was like the first time I think either of us had done a big event since like the pandemic where we had that many people like in one spot, and it took us a minute. Like we first got, we're like, oh man. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was a foreign sensation to be around that many people, but that was.
So were you at it last year as well?
No, that was our first time there.
This one, okay.
Yeah, we've done a lot of them out here, at least at the farm parks, and we've done plenty of them out this way. The Chardon Festival we're doing again.
I'll be at the Chardon Festival.
Oh, very
I
cool.
imagine
Yeah, they just
you would be.
announced that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's like the home, basically the home event.
Sure.
Yeah,
the
right.
closest to us as far as not having to drive into the city.
Right.
And then our next event coming up, we're doing Kent Beer Fest.
Okay.
Oh, very cool.
So I'm trying to grow in the Kent and South area.
Sure. Nice. What else is on your radar besides these events? You guys have anything big going on here that you guys are doing?
So the big event that Debonee is known for is the Hot Air Balloon Fest.
Sure.
Yes.
We're not doing it this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Brought us there and then took it away. Oh, the Hot Air Beer Fest. We're not doing it.
It's a lot to take on. We get 3,000 to 5,000 people here.
Oh yeah, that event is so big you can't drive in South Madison that day.
Well,
Right, yeah, basically it takes over the town.
it starts blocking up 90 both
it does.
ways, which
Wow.
their state police aren't happy at that point. But
It's still got to be a cool feather in your hat to be like,
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
you can shut down 90 for our event.
yeah,
one of the largest freeways in the country.
Yeah.
Right, no big deal. They're stopping here.
that's been road in the winter. Last night we had an adult Easter egg hunt. It was one of our yearly events that we do, and we're doing it again next week. So
Nice.
It's awesome.
It's fun. Get to see a bunch of adults go try to find some eggs.
Can imagine like it's way more competitive now as adults.
Yeah, I try to tell them to be friendly. I usually MC it,
Yeah.
kind of keep them in control.
Sure. Man, we missed out. We got to come back on Friday. You said
yeah.
it's next Friday again?
Yeah,
We're
it
doing
was sold out again.
There's a
Oh,
wait
man.
list. Yeah.
Yeah, 17 people on the wait list. We had
Holy
104 last night and 100. Yes.
Wow.
You have spectators?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll be guest judges or something. Okay. But it's funny because I feel like any day of the week too, this place is always popping during the summertime. Obviously, you got like the wine tours, and you guys are right in the heart of wine country. We were talking about that before. How many wineries are within this?
It's over 25. I don't know the exact
Sure.
number. I focus more on the beer side.
Yeah, right. No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean that's
And Debonee wine, I love Debonee wine. But
Yeah.
as far
Yeah.
as how many wineries, I'm not 100%
Sure.
sure, but I think it's over. I want to say the number's 27, but I don't quote me on it.
Yeah, that's what's so nice though, is you guys are in a really saturated area, but everybody knows Debonee wine. Like, it's such a big pull.
So we're the
Wow.
largest estate winery in Ohio.
Wow.
Wow. And I don't think any of the craft winery or the wineries do what you do with the craft beer or anything like that in the area either.
Not in the area. So we were the first in Ohio
Wow.
to be winery and brewery.
Yeah.
You'd think that it just seems like it goes so well together. I know, as me personally, I'm not the biggest wine drinker. I'm getting there. As far as like you're missing a whole big sector of like potential clientele. Because if it was me, this is where I want to be on a summer day, as opposed to any of the other wineries, because I know they serve the craft beer that I want.
Sure. No, you have both like best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
It's a weird concept that nobody else has done something like this.
Me being a beer nerd and now working, at a winery as well, and got a lot more into wine. I tell craft beer drinkers, you don't like wine, I'll find a wine you like. Same thing with wine drinkers. You don't like beer,
Yeah.
I'll find a beer you like.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It seems like this menu too, as what you guys have here and like your staple, is a very good rainbow to cover everybody's palate here.
Yeah.
Is there any beers here that maybe these are ones you guys have had on prior, maybe these are old cellar rat ones? Is there any that you guys know of, maybe this could be a hot take or behind the scenes, that planning to come back, or any that you would like to see come back?
That's our final one right there.
Oh,
the
look at
sample
that.
there.
Nice. All
And
right,
then,
I figured it out.
Hazy Juicy IPA will be back. We are canning it next Thursday.
Oh, awesome.
Very
So,
cool.
yes,
Perfect.
We didn't do it last year because prices and shipping for the Karuba fruit that we put in it was way up, and
Yeah.
we didn't want to make the IPA just unaffordable.
Nice. Okay. We'll get to that when we get to that. So I guess we have up next is my favorite.
The coveted.
Again, the hot take here, not just saying it because we're at this brewery, but the Butter Pecan Porter is probably it's top 3 favorite beers of all time. If not, probably number 2, by far number 1 in all of Ohio. And I'd say besides like the light lager or Pride of Cleveland, at the festivals and everything, this has probably got to be another huge hit. You can't show up without this. Or maybe I'm way off and everybody hates it. It's just me. No.
You're not wrong. If it's between blueberry kolsch and butter pecan, whichever one I don't bring, I get yelled at.
Yeah, right. I'd imagine so. I'd imagine so.
And the smell
It is.
Oh,
Yeah, it's insane. If you've never had it, again, I can't say more good enough things about this. It is by far, it's my favorite Ohio beer. It's number 2, if not number 3. Oh, so good. And it's not heavy. That's the biggest misconception, too, that everybody thinks of with these stouts and these porters, that they're like, oh, man, I don't like these big, heavy beers. And it's so smooth. It does not weigh on you.
So
You
with the
think it would.
sweetness
Oh, yeah.
of the butter pecan too.
You ever had those, they're a cheap candy, but they're like those maple goodies or maple nutty, they're like little, I don't know. It
Nope.
might be a Southeastern Ohio.
Maybe. I'm trying. I want to get there for you.
Clusters, and they taste like maple. It
Yeah.
tastes exactly like that beer
Yeah.
does, and that's what it reminds me of.
This is like a treat at the end of the night, or like pairing that with a nice dinner. Oh, it's just so good. It really is.
There's definitely been events where people start talking about the butter pecan, and I'll have a line.
Yeah.
Just
Getting for-
people just circling back just to drink. Oh, that's my favorite beer there.
Right.
I mean, it is definitely an approachable porter style, darker style beer.
Yeah. It's again too. It seems like we keep hitting that, like harping on it, but everything here is. It seems, whether purposeful or not, really designed to be a good gateway, a good first step in the door into craft beer. Nothing's super unapproachable. Nothing's like punch you in the face. It's just really clear, very like true to whatever style that is. Man, it's good. Oh, I could drink this all day.
We do have 12 taps here. So,
Oh, wow.
these 6, I call them our core 6.
Yeah.
There's 6 beers that we can year round.
Okay.
So at the retail store, if we're in there, they'll carry typically blueberry kolsch, blueberry kolsch, butter pecan, and POC are the 3 into the door. If you want to carry 3 beers, those are the 3 beers I ask them to carry.
Sure. Awesome. For obvious reasons. It's
Yeah.
just so good.
Yeah, right.
But you mentioned about one coming back, right? And this is the one
Yep,
here.
you're getting it early. You're getting it before the rest of the market does.
Yes, okay, that's what we want.
They're coming back.
The behind the scenes is the exclusive here. So we're getting the first taste. This one's coming back. So tell us, what are we drinking here?
It's a bourbon barrel aged peanut butter coffee blonde ale.
It's a mouthful.
We call the beers what they are.
Yeah, right.
We don't give them any fancy names. In 2020, this won the bronze medal at the New York International Beer Competition.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Oh man, holy cow. You don't normally see coffee, you don't normally associate coffee with a blonde ale.
Right.
You think of this dark beer, this heavy stout, the porter. But man, you really get that coffee on the nose
And
immediately.
the sweetness with the ale too. You don't normally associate the two together either, because that's typically a porter thing too.
Yeah.
So it's good that I like the peanut butter cup ale, and the fact that it's bourbon barrel aged, it brings out those flavors even more. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
And it gets you in the chest. The bourbon
Yeah.
just gets you just
The
enough.
bourbon does. I'm not typically a huge fan of the bourbon barrel. I want to, but sometimes when it gets really high up there
Yeah.
in the ABV, it's so overpowering.
Right, it tastes like you're drinking liquor.
I don't want that. I want to enjoy it. This is a little bit, maybe not, but in my experience, probably a little bit lower at an 8.2 for a barrel aged.
Yeah, it's definitely low.
And I like that so
Yeah,
much more.
absolutely.
It's so
I
much more
agree.
drinkable. Right. So many times we're getting even those little samples. I can't even finish them when they get so high in these barrel aged. This is, wow. I see why. It won't.
I describe it as complex.
really is.
You get coffee. You get, the peanut butter is not an overpowered peanut butter, and then it being a blonde ale, and then the bourbon barrel.
Yeah.
Like
It is a mouthful, and try to basically call it what every flavor you're trying to get.
yeah, right, yeah. it's like Dr. Pepper when you list the flavors, you can taste them all in the Dr. Pepper for
Right.
sure. But I think you could pour this. You can be like the fat guy and me coming out. You could pour this over vanilla ice cream, and that would be so
Yes.
good.
Yes. I'm thinking the same thing, man. That might be, there you go. There's an idea for
For a summer day, that'd
a
be
nice
awesome.
little treat. Yeah. Oh man, that is
Start
good.
serving, but ice cream with bourbon barrel. You pick it, butter pecan porter or the bourbon.
Oh,
Yeah,
barrel
either
butter.
one. I was gonna
Yeah.
say for this one too, because you could do it with that one
like a
too.
root beer float.
Yeah, exactly. Man, that'd be good.
I know what I'm doing with the rest of my Saturday. Now, you brought up one point, and I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Yep.
You call every beer what it is.
Yep.
And that is so far out of the norm now of what
Yep.
we see in craft brewery with these crazy, weird names,
Yep.
right? Why stick to that? Why keep it as a lager instead of the 5,000 Hoppinator, whatever the hell it is?
It keeps it simple and lets people know what they should expect.
Yeah.
If I get it that as far as the marketing side, people buy to the labels and that side of things, and they buy by names as well.
Yeah.
But if someone comes here and they see this long, weird name, they're like, what is that?
Right.
And they're not, I don't want that.
Yeah, yeah. I get it being here as it is. A lot of people that are coming in that are new to the craft beer or just dipping their toes, you would want to be able to give a
Yep.
clear message across.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Try to keep
Still-
it short and sweet.
I still like,
Minus the bourbon barrel, peanut butter coffee blonde ale.
and I have been a victim of that, of the you fell for the cool can art and the cool name.
Oh, definitely. I
And the
think we
beer
all
just
have.
didn't stand up. We won't call anybody out here, but you know who
We
you
all
are.
have.
You know who you are, fooling us with those cool ass cans.
They're really catchy, like that name was smart.
And I'm a sucker,
Beer was
for
not.
it. I love it. I love like the dad jokes and the double
Yeah.
entendres and craft beer, but I've fallen victim to it, fortunately, a couple of times with the cool name and the cool can art.
You guys tried the Iron Maiden beer and it was not.
That was all right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't care for that at all.
All the
There was a few of them. I don't remember what it was. It was something in Chinese. The can was like embossed with like velvet and gold flake. There was like a spotlight on it in the store. It was the coolest thing ever, and it was inedible. It was terrible. It was so bad. I felt completely bamboozled. It was bad. But what else do we have here? We had a couple of things we wanted to touch on. I know we like cruise through the beer here.
we talked about events. Are you having any new events? I know you do the Easter egg hunt next
Yep.
week and
Is
this
there
week.
anything
Anything
new
else?
like this year at all?
So nothing big. We do a bike race. So we talked about, or I saw that.
No, you're good.
We support a local cycling team, a youth cycling team, and
Yeah.
we did 2 batches for them, and so much of the proceeds of my sales go to the team to bike repairs, travel, because
Yeah.
cycling's not a cheap sport. But we do a bike race that's usually end of summer towards the fall, and then we do a bike for MS. That's the owner, Tony. He has MS, and he does his event.
Okay.
It's a bike for MS, and it's become a very big fundraiser.
Yeah, sure. Is that the Shenanigans series? Is that what that is?
No,
How does how
that's
does that tie
separate.
in?
The-
Okay.
so it's separate. The head brewer owner he's into cycling.
Yeah.
And he likes to cycle, and like we're one of the big. There's Road Apple, which is down in Garrettsville. That's a big bike race. That was
Okay.
it happened a couple weeks ago, beginning of March. 400 people turned out there.
Sounds terrible. Riding bikes in the beginning
Well,
of March.
it was that first weekend in March. It was like
Oh, we
70
had like,
degrees.
yeah, right. Oh, there you
yeah,
go. Yeah, in Ohio, I guess you never know what you're gonna get. We're into April, and it's
and
like
it's snowing
30,
outside.
Yeah, it's like 35 degrees out right now. Oh,
But yeah,
jeez.
one of the big brewery events is we do the bike race, and it's through the vineyard. We have the track go through the vineyard.
Really?
Yep. So
That's
it's one of those
awesome.
cross trek, or not cross trek's a car, but
Yeah, I mean
Right.
that made sense to
Yeah.
me.
hey, don't quote me on a cycling term.
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
not
right.
sure about that.
Clearly, you're a very
I
experienced cyclist.
apologize. Cyclers are big
Right.
supporters of our craft beer.
We love you. We're
Yeah,
very
so-
sorry. We'll get it right next time. I promise. Oh man.
Man, I used to work for a Boy Scout camp, and you're talking about your boss being a cyclist, and that just reminded me I was never a cyclist. Even as a kid, I remember me and Justin rode bikes together, and I ended up in the ditch.
You made it about 5 houses down from my house.
yeah, and that was about it.
You're probably a lot older than you care to admit in that story.
Oh, yeah, I
We
was.
weren't young. I think we had our driver's license.
And that was I worked at a Boy Scout camp, and the boss there, he tried to get me to ride a bike, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Like,
The same does not apply. It's not
you
like
wanna-
riding a bike.
you want me to teach bicycling merit badge? I can't do that, dude. Like, I'll teach just about anything else, but not that.
Right. Do we have a craft beer merit badge?
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal one of Lee's questions here, and then we'll put a bow on this a little bit. But the one question when we started the podcast, and we've done a lot of craft breweries, we've done wineries, we've done entrepreneurs, we've done bands, we've had Guinness World Record holders, and we wanted a question that we could ask anybody, no matter where they're at, no matter where they came from. And so we came up with this one question, and we're going to put you on the spot here. Completely separate from craft beer. Great transition. What is one music album, that you put on that has no skips? Perfect from beginning to end.
And while you're thinking about it, so we like to give some time here. Do you have one for this time?
I did not prepare at all until I started thinking about this, and I'm panicking so bad. Because now we've realized that every time we ask this, we're like, shit, we have to give an answer too. Yeah. We've done this a couple of times now that we're running out. But no, I don't have an answer. If you have one,
I do have one. I'm gonna
please save me.
I don't know. Shameless plug here. I've been helping this guy out. He's a good friend of mine at work, and he just wrote and he plays all the instruments for this one band. His name, he actually designed the logos that we have.
Did he really?
Name, yep.
I didn't even know that. That's
the
awesome.
band's name is Altered Paradox. He just released his first self-titled album for this band that he has called Altered Paradox. Check it out. It's on Bandcamp, Apple Music, wherever you listen, Spotify. Check it out. It's great from start to finish. It's a lot of fun. If you're into the whole like death metal, dark metal type thing, it's a lot of fun. But check it out. It's good.
What was his name?
His name is Jake.
Jake, you owe us $5 for the promo.
Yeah. Thanks for the logos.
Thanks for the logos, dude. No, that's awesome.
Shameless plug.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
All right, we're passing it over to you. What are you gonna say?
Michael Jackson Thriller.
Oh, that's a good one.
man.
You can't go wrong.
What a great answer. We always make fun of, we've had a couple people now have answered with greatest hits albums, and we feel like that's cop
Queen
out.
greatest hits.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Queen
Oh,
greatest
yeah.
hits, greatest album.
Of course.
Of
That is a
course
great
it
album,
is,
though.
right? And I'm finally going to step back, and I'm going to say Garth Brooks, greatest hits.
Oh, yeah, you can't go wrong there.
It
For
was-
sure.
His music on Apple.
That's true. He's
He
not
does
on
it
any of the
right, you
streaming
can't,
services.
so you have to buy the album. You have to buy the album for that. You have to.
I have a close second though.
A close second?
Yeah,
Okay. We'll
would be
close second.
So, Mike Pinto Band.
Okay.
So he's smaller. He's from Philly. Lives in California now. But it's that ska reggae style.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
And it's just chill. It's all summer long. If I'm outside,
Yeah.
he's on my music.
I like it. All right, we'll check that out. Well, it's funny now that this question that we've asked too, it's great that after the episode, we always go back now and like, the one thing when we started this is like, what do we like? We like movies, we like music, and we like craft beer. When we started this, it wasn't really all about beer. It was just sitting down and shoot the shit, have a couple drinks, and have a conversation with somebody. And
The beer's
now
just been a platform.
it's funny that this has been our like foot in the door, because we're gonna come here and we're gonna like, try and find you anyway
Yeah.
on like a normal day and like pull up a bar stool and shoot the shit. And like, if you're here, leave him alone. The guy's got to work. But that's really how this all started. It's like we like beer, we like the story behind it. You
Yeah.
know, every brewery's got a different start. It's a whole different journey for anybody of how they got started, how they plan to grow, whatever it is. But
I was like,
we
hey,
just
you guys want to go to a brewery?
yeah, right. That's really how it started, but it's morphed into this. But speaking of that, of like story and the history, what is next on the radar for Double Wing? What is that next step that you guys see kind of taking, I guess?
So the next step is basically what we're doing here, trying to get people to know that we're at this venue,
Here.
that
Yeah.
we're here.
Yeah.
Hello, we're here.
We are
We're
here.
right in the middle, smack dab in wine country, but we're here.
Yeah.
This summer, I'm starting to do a lot more brewery tours. So I
Okay.
take them back into the production facility, give them a tour, and come out and do a sampling. So we were talking about events. That's been my shift going forward to, hey, let everyone know that going towards PA off 90 in wine country, there's a brewery
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
inside a winery.
yeah, and it's a damn good one at that.
It is, yeah.
Lee, do you want to wrap up with our Steve question?
The Steve question, sure. I like that it's got a title.
It is. It's funny. It has now become the Steve question.
So what, we have just last question, one of the last questions we'd like to ask. Is there a question that we didn't ask? What is one question that you would have asked you sitting here?
if
you
you were
got
in
one?
our seats, what did we miss?
What got you into craft beer?
Oh, there you go.
Oh man,
Yeah, turntables.
I like it. Yeah. The turntables.
This is tough. It's
I will-
something that I always question myself about where did I fall in love with
That
craft beer?
is a good question. I actually have an answer to that too. So I was in the military for a little bit, and when I was stationed in New York, one of my shipmates there was really into home brewing, and invited me over one day for a home brew, and I had no idea. I think I might have been barely 21 at the time. Of course, we'll say I was 21 at the time.
Right,
I
right.
was absolutely 21 at the time.
In the military, you were definitely.
Yeah, right. Yeah, fuck it, I don't care. It's been, I've been gone for a while. No, and it was just, it blew my mind. I was not about beer. I didn't really like it. I wasn't about that scene, but just seeing the craft and just the passion that he put into it. And I remember his wife made cookies out of the mash. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And down in his basement, he had 4 or 5 taps. He had a rotating board. He was going different brews on there. He had the ABV, the IBUs. It was really cool setup. And I was like, man, tell me everything you know about this. And my ADHD is, I'm going to obsess about this. This is going to become my personality now. You know? I was like, great, I love this. And I think that was it. And then when I was stationed in New Hampshire, it's a weird part of the country that not many people know about, but New Hampshire has a coastline. It's only about 30 miles long. It's right on the southern tip of Maine, near Kittery. And in that area, like where you guys are at here, in a 10-mile radius, there had to have been 30 or 40 craft breweries from ranging different sizes, from a small garage and guys just with a 1-barrel system with nothing set up, no tap room. You just went in there and filled up a growler, all the way up to Red Hook and some bigger names, all within that area. And there was I took that knowledge from him, and I just visited every place I could. And ever since then, it's been a journey.
Man, it's such a good story, and I don't think I have anything
Yeah.
like that. It was just I liked
you.
drinking.
No.
I was just I think part of it was actually we talked about earlier, is just being a sucker for advertising and just
Yeah.
buying all the different beers that I could.
You went a different route. You went to college. You
That's
experienced
true.
that.
It became just the binge drinking in college.
Right.
You were drinking craft beer though.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
And
not
that
drinking
kind of
beers. I'm
just-
sampling, and it's classy.
It's
right.
classic, right?
That's a good answer.
This
What
is
about you? I guess.
That's-
What was your background? I guess even before this.
Funny you say that.
And then
about the
how-
military. I fell in love with real beer because I was in the military,
Right.
stationed in Germany.
Okay.
Oh, very
and
cool.
I was 18 years old. In Germany, you could drink at 18.
Sure.
Right.
Needless to say, I drank beer and knew what beer tasted like before
Yeah.
that. And then once Germany had beer, I'm like, oh,
This
this
is what
is
it's
this
really.
is what it's
yeah.
supposed to
This
taste
is
like.
what-
This,
right.
this is beer.
Yeah.
Full flavored beers, Hefeweizens.
Right.
These are wit beers, and from then I went to college after the military. Met my wife. She took me to Southern Tier Brewery in Lakewood, New York.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
And I walked in and was like,
Wow.
well, you can do this for a living, and I'm
Yeah.
going to college for elementary education. So from then, I went home, bought a home brew kit,
Yeah.
brewed my own beer. Just from then, it's just been in love with the craft beer industry.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
How
That's
long
really
have you
cool.
been with Double Wing?
So I started here mid 2019. I took about 6 years to get into the industry because I wanted to be on the sales and marketing side of it,
Sure.
not on the production side of it.
Yeah.
So because I like to talk, I
Right.
like to be in front of
Sure.
people and
Sure.
not doing that hard work.
Right. No, it is too, and that's the one thing that I think everybody. It's definitely opened our eyes, and we like to shine the light on that. It's not just flipping a switch and hitting this
No.
ingredient in this. Even every batch is so meticulously done, and it really is. It's a work of passion.
It's
to create
chemistry.
These beers.
Yeah,
it
for
really
sure.
is.
So
It's
much.
science.
I love it. Passion. I call it art, creativity, and
Yeah.
science. Just so much goes into craft beer that how could you not
Right.
love that? Someone really gave it their everything
Yeah.
to put this beer in front of me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right. And the community around it too. Craft beer is so inclusive, and it always irks me. I'm sure you're probably the same way when people are apprehensive to get into it, because once you take that first step into the store, the community is only so big. There's only so many people around here, and everybody has been incredible. And thank you for sitting down.
Thank you for
everybody
having me.
that we've approached has been welcoming us with open arms, and everybody.
Sorry for taking so long.
No, that's
Please,
good.
listen, you're a busy guy, obviously, which is awesome. I wish you guys nothing but success, but.
If you ever want to do a follow-up, come on back
Oh,
out.
please,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
we'll do a
Couple
tour and
months
everything
ago.
like that. I guess before we wrap up and put a bow on this, I guess the last thing to do is roll out the red carpet for you. Tell everybody what's going on, either come see you, brewery tours, whatever it is. I mean,
Yeah,
what's-
so brewery tours, I think I'm gonna do 3 to 5 this summer because I have beer events. I'm the person at the beer event. You guys
Sure,
saw me at the beer
right.
event. So the place to see me or check out Eventbrite or keep an eye on Debonee's website. We have our own website, but Debonee they put a lot of the events on
Right.
their website.
Okay.
Keep an eye on our Facebook and Instagram. We'll be posting those events when they're coming live.
Awesome.
But I know the first one that I'm doing is going to be Memorial Day weekend Saturday.
Nice.
Very
awesome.
cool.
Kick off to summer, right? Memorial Day, right?
that'll-
The official
and
start.
It'll be given by me.
Awesome. I think we're going to give Steve the official title, the hardest working man in craft beer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like it.
I don't brew.
Right.
Those guys are on a different level.
Right.
I mean,
Oh, that's awesome.
they like to clean. I don't.
I know. That's the one thing we get from everybody too. It's like, listen, like a clean brewery is a good brewery.
Yeah,
That's- that sounds like a lot of work, man.
I had
Yeah.
to clean enough in the
I
army.
want to drink. Yeah, exactly. I'm with you, man. That's funny. To clue you in a little bit, at the end of every episode, we've got the same little outro. And for almost 2
We
years
shoot
that
for
we've
the
been
same
doing this.
outro.
What was that? Yeah, usually
We
the
shoot
same
for
outro.
the same outro.
We try. But every time we put it on Lee and we never give him any notice and he's never practiced it or written it down exactly what it is. So Lee, take us away.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having us. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you find us. Watch the videos, leave a review, and rate us because all that stuff helps. Thanks again, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, and Anchor. I forgot Anchor's on there too. And iHeart. Man, I keep forgetting all this stuff. It's on iHeartRadio now. Very exciting. We just got put on there this week. So
Yeah.
check us out wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, we'll see you.